today's What Matters report, outrage over a popular rapper. Rochelle is here with the disturbing story about some unsolicited sex advice, Rochelle, that he gave to middle schoolers, right?
Middle schoolers, even to a grown-up, Susan. Okay, Todd Anthony Shaw, better known to millions of rap fans as Too Short, was given the opportunity to share fatherly advice. That's what he called it for young men. Hip-hop magazine XXL allowed him to dispense some disturbing, borderline criminal advice on this video, and the topic was turning out little girls. Okay, we're not going to show it to you. We can't. We'll tell you just what we can about what's in it. In the video, he says, a lot of the boys are going to be running around trying to get kisses from the girls. We're going to go way past that. That's all we can tell you. The rest is so disturbing, we cannot share it on TV. The video has since been taken down by the magazine. Both the magazine and Too Short have released apologies. Okay, this is the apology from Too Short. It says, I want to apologize to anyone I may have offended with the XXL video interview I recently did. When I got on camera, I was in Too Short mode and had a lapse of judgment. I would never advise a child or young man to do these things. It's not how I get down. Although I have made my career on dirty raps, I have worked over the years to somewhat balance the content of my music with giving back to the community. Just coming from a man who wants to see young people get ahead in life. I'm going to do my best to help and not hurt. If you're a young man or a kid who looks up to me, don't get caught up in the pimp, player, gangsta, hip-hop personas. Just be yourself. I know that was long, but I think it was worth going through all of that. Okay, joining us now to talk more about this is Kevin Powell. He's an activist and author. He's also written about and done extensive work around gender violence prevention. His latest book is Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, and the Ghost of Dr. King. Kevin, thanks for joining me. Okay, I hope you were able to digest some of that. Right? It's an apology. Some viewers have even just told me on Facebook, Rochelle, he apologized. Why are we still talking about this? Let's talk about the apology, though, Kevin. Even in the apology, he acknowledges that some of what he puts out there is so bad it needs to be balanced out by community work. What's your reaction to this apology?
Well, you know, the thing is, as you know, Rochelle, 1 out of 3 women on this planet, or about 1 billion women, will be the victims of sexual assault in some form in their lifetime. And so when you are dealing with a pop culture machinery that continually puts out destructive images of women and girls, continually tells men and boys that it's okay to disrespect women in any form or fashion, you are feeding into that. And you can't just say that it was my persona or my character who was doing that. What we need men like Too Short to say is that I'm going to actually become involved in ending all forms of violence against women and girls in this country. I'm going to take a stand in terms of popular culture, specifically hip-hop, and say that enough is enough. This has been a 20-year ride now that we've had, going all the way back to the days of The Chronic with Dr. Dre and Snoop, where the prevalent or dominant image and wordplay that we've had out there has been very sexist, misogynistic, and destructive images to women and girls, but also has encouraged men and boys to engage in that kind of behavior as well. We need to stop it once and for all. The real balance that we need to see is the kind of music that we grew up on, the kind of music that Whitney Houston represented.
You know, Kevin, he actually said in this fatherly advice talk, he talked about telling these little boys to push the girls up against the wall. That is sexual assault, plain and simple. That is sexual assault.
We're teaching boys and men how to engage in violence against women and girls. That is absolutely unacceptable. And the real issue, Rochelle, is what if women like Joan Morgan and Dream Hampton and all the women who've been organizing around this hadn't raised their voices at all? Would the video have come down? Would there have been an apology from XXL editor-in-chief and from Too Short? I say to you, no, because this has become normalized behavior in our society. So the real issue is, why is this okay, and who is allowing this to go on? And so we do need to challenge XXL. We do feel that the editor-in-chief, Vanessa Satin, needs to resign, or she needs to be fired. Even if she didn't know about it, the fact that you're the editor-in-chief, I worked at magazines for years, was a founding staff from Revive magazine. The buck always stops with the editor-in-chief, and someone has to be held accountable for this. But we also are saying that Harris Publications, that puts out XXL, has a history over the last several years of destructive images of women, particularly of women of color. Their sister magazine is King Magazine, and it's basically soft porn that they've been pushing. That is unacceptable.
Kevin, let me read Vanessa's statement. You just referenced the fact that she did apologize on behalf of the magazine. It reads in part this way: many readers found the tone and content of the interview to be offensive and were angered that it was allowed to be posted on the website. I agree with their perspective. And then she goes on to say that she didn't actually see it. She doesn't see everything, and she's trying to put some checks and balances in place so this doesn't happen again. But I could tell for some people that that's not going to be enough. But Kevin, we'll be here again. We will be here again talking about this topic of demeaning, dangerous lyrics about women and girls. What is the bigger dialogue beyond Too Short? We're not trying to give just Too Short attention. What is the bigger dialogue that we need to have about this going forward?
Well, I can say this as a male ally to the women who are leading this push, because I'm certainly following their lead, is that there's going to be a sustained movement around this, because we're saying in a lot of ways what C. Dolores Tucker was talking about 20 years ago is actually right, and it's worse than ever. And so it's not going to stop with Harris Publications and XXL. It's not going to stop with Ms. Satin resigning or quitting or being fired, I should say. What we're saying is that we want to get to a point where people in the industry, be it radio, TV, magazines, websites, understand that you shouldn't even consider putting that kind of stuff up, because you will be called to task for it. We're going to challenge these advertisers of these entities and say, we're not going to support your products anymore if you continue to put this kind of stuff out there and say it's okay to demean our women and girls, particularly women and girls of color.
Real quickly, we're just about out of time. Kevin, what do you say? I have a lot of comments from viewers who say, if you're a parent, just don't let your child listen to it. Problem solved.
That's not enough, because the friends of your child are watching these videos, are reading these magazines, and so it's important that we have a holistic approach. It's not just about one group of parents saying we're not going to let our kids watch this stuff or read this stuff. It's got to be a whole community effort around this, and we need people to support this movement. And so I hope people will sign the petition that's out there around this, and hope people will start to look at the companies that advertise in these publications like Harris, like XXL, and say we're not going to support you if you continue to put destructive images of women and girls in your magazine.
Kevin Powell, thank you very much for the discussion.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.